So without further ado, let's get started with day 2 of the East Africa Hybrid Cloud and Cybersecurity Summit 2022. First up, we have our very first keynote presentation on cybersecurity in a converging IT/OT world by Faith Wawira Nyaga, Senior Information and Communication Officer, Water Resources Kenya, Authority of Kenya. Faith also serves as a Senior Special Programs Director in ISACA Kenya chapter, whereby one of her main role is to promote One in Tech, an ISACA foundation that seeks to create a healthy digital world that is safe, secure, and accessible for all. She's passionate about anticipatory governance and water climate related innovation and research leading to strategic management and sustainable conversion measures in the face of water resource scarcity and climate change risks. Over to you, Faith, and the stage is all yours. We can't hear you, Faith.
Thank you so much, Roger. Can you
My
confirm
pleasure.
if you're able to hear me now?
Yes,
Thank
very
you.
much.
Thank you. Let me share my slides. Thank you for this event. Let me share my slides. Also, kindly confirm if you're able to see my screen. Are you able to see my screen, Roger?
Yes, we can.
Thank you so much. So, as Roger mentioned, my name is Faith Wawira. I work with the Water Resources Authority as a senior ICT officer. And today I'm going to be talking about cybersecurity in a converging IT/OT world. So we've had industrial revolutions starting with the 18th century, whereby there has been a significant transformation regarding how industries and manufacturing works. And currently we are in the 4th industrial revolution, whereby it's commonly known as Industrial 4.0. And in this current industrial revolution, we are seeing a lot of digital transformation happening in various companies, whereby computers now are more connected and they're able to communicate with each other, and having also machines coming in and being able to have a complex network whereby they're ultimately able to make decisions without human involvement. So this has led to a combination of like cyber physical systems, and as a result, we are having more smarter machines that also keep on getting smarter on the way they are able to access data, and our factories and manufacturing plants and also critical infrastructures in government are becoming more efficient and more productive, and a lot of less wastage. So ultimately, we've seen a transformation into a revolution whereby the network of machines is more digitally connected to each other, and we can only anticipate for more unlocking on true power of this. So critical infrastructure stems into various areas. Some of the areas that are mentioned here, we are having, for instance, the power companies being able to monitor the generators and the station hubs, water utilities having smart meters, and also like having more modern ways of water treatment. And also we've had of
Faith, I'm sorry to interrupt. Can you put this on presentation mode, because it's still on, PowerPoint. Can you put it in presentation mode, please?
Sorry.
You're welcome.
Just a minute. Yeah, so I was mentioning for critical infrastructure, all these areas that you're seeing here there has been a way of digitally transforming how they do operate and run their operational part of it. Because just mentioning, we've seen the emergence of self drive, vehicles that are able to have no drivers and various companies being able to look at that. And yeah, so we're having a lot of digital transformation happening in the manufacturing sector with the robots and AIs and machine learning also coming in to automate the manufacturing and the warehouse sector. So I want maybe to start by looking at what the difference between IT and OT. And traditionally, OT, the operational technologies, have always existed without like in a silo kind of an environment, without being able to connect to the internet, and they basically manage the physical processes. And the IT part has been is where companies have been able to manage the information using the use of servers and on computers and networks. But essentially, you find that the IT groups have traditionally taken care of the critical businesses applications, and essentially because they're these critical business applications rely on the IT side, but where we have the business process control, the process controls and the operational technologies domains, which mostly the threats were more physical, and in some cases, or in some other cases, cyber. This domain has been taken care of by the engineers and the and the chief operating officers. But as digital transformation is coming in, and the operational technology side of business is getting digitally transformed, there has been a way of these two networks converging, and now it results to a bit of a complex network structure, whereby the management needs to be able to look at a better or a fuller visibility of how information is shared between them. So the operational technology basically is run through the ICS, that's the industrial control systems, which maybe like could be the main component of operational, of the OT, which includes devices that are able to manage and control the various industrial processes, which includes the SCADA systems, that is the supervisory control data acquisition systems, and the DCS, that is the distributed control system. Again, another difference that comes in is that on the OT side, we have the industrial Internet of Things, which comes with a diverse array of various equipment, such as the sensors, the monitors, the actuators, cameras, and they're able to be able to run the industry in a bigger scale. The Internet of Things, I would term it as smaller scale of that technology, because it exists maybe on tablets and smartphones, and because for industrial IoT is like having a complex, like a smart factory. So it's more of on the bigger scale of bigger things within manufacturing or in an industry. So the landscape now is rapidly changing, and having these two technologies coming into play. Now we have like, for instance, the asset management, the supply chain, and the production operation groups being able to leverage on AI analytics to be able to improve on how they do their business. And now having this come into play, there's need to have like a bigger, a larger collaboration between the OT and the IT side, because the landscape, as you can see, it's changing, whereby you will have your IT and on the operational technology being able to have a complex connectivity and a better and more complex network solutions are meant to be put in place. So when IT and OT integrate, you find that now, like I've just mentioned, it creates a different landscape altogether, whereby previously you'd find your operational technology was in an air-gapped kind of a situation, such that it was not connected to the outside world. But now when you have the IT and the OT converging, you're essentially now being able to be exposed to the external threats. I would give an example of, for instance, a customer relations management application, maybe for instance in a manufacturing plant, which is aligned to be able to improve like customer experience. Now, in a scenario like this, that customer relation management application might be some way somehow be connected to the maybe supply chain, the operations side, and the product development, and through the feedback of the customers in the production side, you're able to make continuous improvement. So there's a huge risk there, and some new vulnerabilities now, if they're not taken care of, can be exposed to your organization. So there are some challenges that are foreseeable when IT/OT converges. There are also solutions into it, but maybe I would look at maybe two of these challenges that I find a bit critical is the different team perspectives. So you have your IT team and your OT team, and they all come from diverse professional backgrounds, and maybe their line of thinking could be a bit conflicting, depending on what is their priorities and how they do their job. So you might find, for instance, the IT people would be looking at having like, endpoint security, a solution maybe to be able to curb maybe malicious network traffic. But maybe for the operational technology staff, for them, if there's a malicious traffic coming in and maybe you have to stop a critical process, for them, because maybe of how a production plant in this example would be working, they are not able to stop a process, maybe for reasons of safety, or maybe they need to be able to submit a certain target. So this is a challenge that would come in between because of the conflicting workflows in between the two teams. And obviously the cybersecurity challenge also comes in, of which we shall be able to discuss in a few. So some of the gaps when it comes to cybersecurity, again, is these two teams or these two departments come from diverse professional backgrounds. An IT department perhaps would have maybe a business analyst, a CIO, and an IT architect. But for a CEO, you'll have maybe the plant manager, the control engineer, and the COO. When it comes to, for instance, business priorities, the IT would be looking at the confidentiality of systems and data. But again, for the plant manager, for instance, or the CEO or the control engineer, you would be looking at availability, because they can't afford maybe to shut down a plant if a critical, there has been an attack or something like that. Again, you might find the IT prioritizing more on integrity, and again, the OT also maybe prioritizing more on maybe privacy and safety of the operation. So for them, depending on what processes they're running, they would not tolerate a downtime, maybe because of safety of the plant, or something like that. And then look at the protection targets. The ICT is looking at the data that is maybe in the Windows, in the computers and servers, but the OT is probably looking at the PLC and the HMIs and maybe the meters around the environment. Also, the environmental conditions is they are totally different environmental conditions. For the OT, the equipments might be in very harsh environment, which are a bit diverse or different from the well air conditioned equipment for IT. So when they converge, so there's need to have a cybersecurity strategy that is able to consolidate both IT and OT cybersecurity efforts. And there is also need to have a cybersecurity strategy that clarifies the responsibilities and eliminates the security gaps, and also ensuring there's like a consistent security level across the entire organization to be able to reduce the overall cyber risks. So having shared responsibilities from end to end is very important. And also maybe have a global view of how the corporate governance of all cybersecurity procedures and technology and guidelines are within your institution. So the person who maybe could be in charge, could be the CISO or someone else in top management, should have like an overall responsibility of being able to coordinate how these two groups are working together and make sure whatever cyber security efforts that are being put across are able to be in alignment with the business goals and are able to implement the key objectives of the organization. So there has been some of the risks which are real when these two worlds converge. And you realize now, as much as the IT part of cybersecurity has been more on protecting the information and data aspect that would be malicious to the institutions, maybe when it comes to maybe financial fraud or being able to steal like critical data. Now the risks that come with OT are a bit more sensitive because cyber criminals now might not be primarily be interested in stealing data, but they could be looking at potentially harming human life. So like these examples you see here, in some way or some way or another, they touch the human aspect. So the OT networks, as companies continue implementing, definitely the cyber criminals are able to read the algorithm and sharpen how this works. Like there was an example of a Nikon's ransomware that attacked the Honda automobile company sometimes back. So so it's very, very, very important. And you see what happens is that for instance, if a food production facility has been attacked and the company, for instance, ships unsafe food that is not good for human consumption, that there is a very dire consequence if people are able to consume that food. Or maybe when it comes to water treatment plants, and like you're saying in that case that happened in that story there, you see, if contaminated tap water goes into people's homes and they're able to consume that water, it could lead to very, very dire consequences. So I saw this from Gartner, and they said by 2025, the threat actors will have weaponized operational technology environment successfully enough to be able to cause the human casualties. So when you look at this, you see there's the threat landscape has changed much, and if it's now coming into taking account the value of human life, the cost could be so big when it comes to the incidences that may occur. So the security criminals targeting the operational technology could be actually be motivated to cause like actual harm to human beings, or maybe vandalize a commercial industry, and also maybe have damaged the reputation, so that if it's in the case of the manufacturer, they would be termed and trusted and reliable. But when you look at that, the cost in which the organizations would be facing will be so huge when it comes to compensation, litigation, or maybe insurance, regulatory fines, reputation loss. That's a huge cost that would come across. I mean, even not taking into account if there is loss of life for humans. So the people at the top management, the CEOs, essentially would be liable. So there's need to have a holistic view on how the operational technology is secured from cyber threats. So the ease of transition, like I mentioned, the IT and the OT professionals, they come from diverse backgrounds. So they require to be able to work together in a compatible and a fully integrated way. And there's need to look at solutions that are able to cater for both environments. So again, beyond the technical challenges that may come in, there are issues like cultural issues, such as being able to overcome trust between the two groups, which can be a big handle on its own. So methods of being able to cross-pollinate the groups such that you're able to build the bridges and being able to establish or re-establish trust between the IT and the operational technology staff is very critical. So I saw some of these are some of the operational technology security controls, and this again is a recommendation from Gartner. And I'll take the first two as one of the most critical things that maybe an organization should be able to look at, and being able to clearly define the roles and the responsibilities of, for instance, the overall security manager that will look at both the OT and the IT environment, and is responsible for making sure that all related stakeholders in this case are able to work and be at a similar level. Again, appropriate training and awareness is very important, and also being able to create a very good corporate culture about cybersecurity within your institution could significantly reduce the attack that could essentially happen. And then implementing and being able to implement and test incident response, and ensuring like each facilities that you have that are operating on OT have specific security incident management. And again, that includes the 4 phases, that is preparation, detection, analysis, containment, again, eradication and recovery, as well as post-incident recovery is essential. Of course, backups and having a disaster recovery site is very critical. Portable media, the USB sticks have been notoriously been used for spreading malicious codes and softwares, and in an OT environment it could be dangerous if, like, the risks that we've discussed to occur. So having a clear policy that ensures that how portable media is handled in the organization is very important. Also having an up-to-date asset inventory that is able to document which softwares you have. You might find you have like sensors or maybe some CCTV cameras that could not be documented and could open ways for attack. Of course, network segregation, not maybe every device could be connected to the internet on the OT network. Of course, having proper ways of logging, collecting logs, and also being able to implement real-time detection. Also have a secure configuration process which could be standardized, and it's also applicable for both the environment. It's very important. Again, patching process. And even before you deploy an equipment in the OT environment, you find it's very important to be able to update maybe the software that runs on that equipment. Most of the equipments in the OT environment don't require a lot of patching, but it's good to be able to upgrade before you enroll you deploy the equipment. So thank you so much.
My apologies for interrupting. I think we are out of time. Okay, so
I've also finished. Thank you so much.
perfect.
Yeah, thank you so much for listening, and for the audience also.
If you can stop sharing your screen, please.
Yes.
Right. So thank you, Faith, for sharing your knowledge and insights with us today. I wish you a great rest of the day, and please do continue to enjoy the summit. Thank you.